Our first speaker is Shri.N. Premachandran. Mr. N.K. Premachandran is a member of parliament from Kollam Lok Sabha constituency in Kerala. He was the former Minister for Water Resources in Government of Kerala. He passed LLB from Government Law College, Thiruvananthapuram with first rank in 1985. Mr. Premachandran was a member of both houses in Parliament in India for 5 times. And he was elected to Lok Sabha for the first time in 1996, thereafter in 1998, 2014 from Kollam constituency. He was elected to Rajya Sabha in 2000. In 2019 Lok Sabha election, he won from the Kollam Parliament seat with a record margin of 150,000 votes. He is a very good orator and well known for his public speeches. Mr. Premachandran was awarded as the best parliamentarian for 2 consecutive years in 2017 and 2018 respectively by Lok Mat. He was being appointed as the chairperson in Lok Sabha during absence of speaker in the chair of parliament proceeding. Let us welcome Sri N.K. Premachandran for this webinar.
Good morning to all. First of all, I take this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate Seagull International or Seagull Group of Companies, in particular Dr. Suresh Kumar Madhusudanan, in holding such a webinar on a very timely theme or a topic: hibernate to reboot your business with redefined strategies. I think this is the right time to discuss about this topic because, especially in the business world, I feel that almost all the panelists in this webinar belongs to the industrial community or the business community. I'm not from the business community. I think that I'm the only person from the political community in the policy making, represent policy maker. So definitely I have to confine my speech regarding the policy initiatives and legislative interventions post-COVID-19 period. Rightly, Dr. Suresh Kumar Madhusudanan has just pointed out that the COVID-19 pandemic has structurally changed the whole world. Because what would be the impact and consequences after COVID-19? Nobody can now predict. Such a situation we are meeting, such a situation we are facing. In the year 1918 to 20, we know the Spanish flu and the Spanish flu pandemic period. We had the experience. After that, we are facing such an acute crisis regarding managing the COVID-19. And finally, the World Health Organization as well as the health experts have rightly come out with a very specific point that the post-COVID-19 period will be giving us a new experience of a new world order. And the WHO is saying that we have to live with the virus. So COVID-19 will exist for further period, even for further 1 year. And until and unless we are able to contain it through vaccination or by some other medical means which will continue with us, that means we have to live with the virus, we have to live with the COVID-19. That has become a fact. That means the COVID-19 pandemic situation will give a new world order and will give a new experience for us. We have to address that situation. So I feel that the theme of the topic today we are discussing is about the post-COVID-19 business arena and what would be the strategies to be adopted so as to address the situation after COVID-19 pandemic. See, all of us know that on 25th March, we have been in lockdown for the last 75 days. That means we were in hibernation for the last 75 days. But now it is the right time to come out from the lockdown and to unlock, and we have to bounce back. When we are announcing the absolute lockdown of 25th of March 2020 by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, we know that the total number of COVID positive patients were just below 500. But when we are going for unlock 1, or when we are relaxing the norms of lockdown, The number of COVID positive patients in India is more than 3 lakhs. That is really making some concern among us, because at the time when we are having less than 500, we had the absolute lockdown. But when the number is increasing like anything more than 3 lakhs, we are going to the exit plan. That is the process of unlock one we have started. See, the pertinent question to be considered is, what is the actual purpose of having a lockdown so as to address a pandemic? To my limited knowledge and my limited information, I feel that there are two main goals by which lockdown is being announced or being implemented. The number one is to have the preparedness to combat the pandemic. And number two is to create an awareness among the people of the country regarding the seriousness of the pandemic situation or the coronavirus disease or the COVID-19. So now, when we discuss about rebooting our business with redefined strategies, let us analyze whether we are able to hibernate to reboot our business with redefined strategies at this stage of time, when we are having the number of COVID positives is more than 3 lakh. Whether we have the preparedness to combat it, whether we are able to address the situation. And even now the government is also not specific and clear how long will and what would be the range of rate of development or enhancement of COVID-19 cases in India. So in such a situation, we are discussing the theme that we have to rebuild or boost the business with new strategies or redefined strategies. Because that is the situation which is prevailing in our country. But at the same time, I do admit, with almost all of the panelists now, that we cannot wait for further. We have to bounce back, which I have already mentioned. So it has become a fact that we have to live with the virus. Then we have to redefine the strategies also. If we want to reboot our business or our economics, I think that it should be with the new strategies, with the new innovations, and with the new initiatives. I think these are the three major principles by which we can reboot the business, or we can rejuvenate our economy with the new strategies, with the new innovations, and with new initiatives from our side. So in order to have these three goals, or in order to have these three steps, I feel that the legislative and policy interventions are highly required or highly essential. We have to re-strategize the policies and programs to encourage faster restart of our economy and business. The pandemic situation, if you examine the pre-pandemic period and the post-pandemic period, still we are in the pandemic period. We cannot say that we are in the post-COVID period or post-pandemic period. If you examine this as two classifications at the pre-pandemic and the post-pandemic, even the pre-pandemic period also, the economic situation, the business in the country was not in a good position, was not in a sustainable position. Because so many issues or challenges were there regarding the tax, because the main thing was the gap between the haves and have-nots were widening like anything. That was the situation prevailing in the pre-pandemic period also. Tech haves and have-nots, social divides, social conflicts, social challenges are the major hurdles for the faster restart of the economy and our business. So my first suggestion to this discussion, regarding this topic is, legislation and policy intervention should be for the promotion of the sustainable development. We have to re-strategize, or we have to redefine the strategy. We have to promote the policy in such a way so as to achieve the goal of sustainable development. Why? Because if you see the economic position, the financial position of our country, Now, we all know that the underlying requirement in the economics is that we supply the market with respect to the demand, with respect to the amount of demand. The demand side has drastically gone down because of the lack of disposable income available to the people due to the lack of job and lesser pay due to the pandemic period. We know that the most worst affected area is the unemployment, loss of job. Even the statistical data shows that millions of people have lost their jobs due to the pandemic situation, due to the COVID-19 period. So due to the loss of job and also payment of wages, the industry is suffering, the employees, the workers are suffering, thereby the disposable income of the people is declining like anything. That means the demand is decreasing. At the same time, we have to boost our economy. I hope that there are two schools of thoughts regarding this. In order to address the situation, there is one school of thought is direct benefit transfer has to be passed on to the people of the country so as to financially empower the poor people of this country. Because the purchasing capacity of the people is in a big difficult position. So the direct benefit transfer is one of the principles by which we are able to empower financially the people. The other school of thought is we all know that we have to support the industry, agriculture, infrastructure by way of a credit system or by means of the government with the support of the government. We see the unemployment situation prevailing in our country during the pre-pandemic period, which was 6.1%. It was highest during the last 4 decades. And the total economic growth, the GDP growth rate was expected 7% during the last financial year, but unfortunately it has come down below 5%. And the demand was going down like anything. In such a situation, this pandemic has also come. So very, very precarious situation, in a vulnerable situation. In such an economic situation, we have to plan our programs and policies to improve the disposable income of the people of the country. According to me, my suggestion is definitely we can have long-term strategies. We can have the long-term plans and programs so as to boost the economy. But the immediate need of the hour is to empowerment of the poor people, the marginalized sections of the society. Financially, we have to improve them or strengthen them through direct benefit transfer. According to me, these two things should go simultaneously. Supporting the industry, supporting the agriculture, infrastructure, all made through the credit system and through by means of some subsidy and all these things. At the same time, the poor people of the country should also be financially empowered by means of the direct benefit transfer. That is the second suggestion which I would like to make in this webinar. And we all know that the situation which is prevailing in our country and throughout the globe also, we are having good experience regarding all these issues. And coming to the another point, that is after COVID-19, suppose I myself had an experience with the Honorable Prime Minister. Immediately after the last Parliament session, we had a personal discussion with the Honorable Prime Minister regarding financial empowerment of the marginalized sections of the society. And he is also of the opinion that we can, to an extent, we can help, but at the same time, we have to strengthen the system. Industry, agriculture, infrastructure, and all this way. This was the position taken by the Honorable Prime Minister. I think that the Atma Nirbhan Bharat Abhiyan, that is self-reliant India, or the financial revival package is as a resulting thought of the Honorable Prime Minister, which was announced by the Honorable Finance Minister of the country. That is Atma Nirbhan Bharat Abhiyan. Even the meaning of the scheme itself is self-reliant India. But according to me, self-reliant India, I fully support in principle, because we have to learn a lot of lessons from the pandemic. We have to be self-sufficient in the food production. We have to be self-sufficient in almost all areas, for which the principle of self-reliant India is absolutely a welcoming step on the part of the Prime Minister and on the part of the Government of India, for which 20 lakh crore of financial package has been announced. But my simple question to the experts, especially you are all business experts, I think you can very well vindicate on these issues. My specific question or my genuine doubt which I would like to make is, out of the 20 lakh crores of financial revival package, the most of the amount is the credit to the MSMEs and to the industry and agriculture. The direct benefit transfer to the people is very, very negligible. Even less than 1% of the financial relief has been given to the people of the country as finance. Because if you see, for the last 3 months, there is no job, there is no income, nothing is there. In such a situation, we know the pathetic position of the migrant laborers of the country, and even Pravasis, the NRIs are coming from outside without having any income. In such a situation, the government, according to me, the policy and the strategy should be redefined so as to provide some sort of financial assistance, so as to empower the people of the country to meet their basic minimum needs, so that we can boost our economy in such a way. At the same time, the package by which the Honorable Finance Minister has announced regarding supporting the industry, agriculture, infrastructure, all this with that should also be simultaneously worked up. That is the position which I would like to make. But I would like to place it on record my strong reservation regarding one aspect. With that aspect, I will conclude my observations. That is rampant and indiscriminate privatization. This is my personal political view and my political policy and philosophy, which I would like to share with you. Because the mines and minerals, the coals, the defense production, airports, even the space, and even the atomic energy sector, almost all the sectors, even the public sector enterprises or the public sector's presence is limited to maximum 4 in a particular area of industry. And I would like to remind you all regarding the economic melting down or the economic global crisis, economic crisis during 2008. During the 2008 period, when the whole world was facing acute economic crisis, even the American economy was trembling like anything. The insurance companies, the banking industries were facing acute collapse or crisis. India was able to overcome the situation. The Honorable Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and the then Finance Minister, Shri P. Chidambaram, both of them has told very specifically that India is able to overcome the economic slowdown, global economic slowdown, because of the strong presence of banking and insurance in the public sector. So my point of view is, I'm not against the privatization. I fully agree with the privatization. And the government is having the policies that it is not the business of the government to run the business. I'm not fully in agreement with that position. But at the same time, privatization is also need of the hour to generate employment, more investment, more business, more entrepreneurship, so as to generate employment by which the people will be financially empowered. I fully accept that principle, but at the same time, there should have some check and balance in respect of the public sector undertakings, especially in the strategic sectors. But unfortunately, when we are speaking about self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, we have to have a check and balance for which this public sector undertakings or the public sector enterprises presence is also highly essential. That is why I am always suggesting a sustainable development. The philosophy or the principles of the sustainable development should be the key strategy, key policy initiative on the part of the government of India, so as to address the post-COVID-19 situation in India, because the whole globe is going to change. We know that from Chinese experience, most of the industries from China is going back. And if we are able to attract that investment, I think you are the best people to comment on all these issues. If India having a good destination, and we are having the manpower, we are having the skilled manpower, we are having the technology to an extent, if we are able to exploit the chances, if we are able to utilize the chances of post-COVID-19, because from China and so many other countries, the investment is coming back. If you are able to attract those investment, definitely the challenges now which we are facing can be made as opportunities so as to reboot the business with redefined strategies. The redefined strategy should focus the theme of the sustainable development based on the mixed economy principle. That is the specific suggestion which I would like to make as a policy maker, as a member of parliament, or as a politician in this web seminar, in the webinar. And with these words, I would like to conclude. So conclude my observations, and once again, I would take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. Suresh Madhusudanan for having this webinar and giving me this opportunity to make my observations or point of view in this very elite webinar. Thank you very much.
All right, the first question is over here that I've got in my chat box. It is for the Honorable Parliamentarian, Mr. Premachandran. So this question is from the audience. What are financial support Indian business industry can get from the Indian government post-lockdown other than the announced package? And will there be any more relaxation on taxes for quite some time? And is there any kind of a waiver for business loans?
Yeah, because this mainly depends on the policy of the government of India. So far, the announcements which the government of India has made is giving so many benefits and concessions to the corporate, especially the business community. I hope that during the month of July, August, there will be having a parliament session. Even though the pandemic situation is there will be having a parliament session so as to have a relook into the budgetary proposals which have already been passed by the parliament. Definitely, so many relaxations may come in favor of the business community, especially in taxations. Even in the package, you know that the first package, the corporate tax has been reduced, and 1,48,000 crores of benefits has already been passed on to the corporate companies, and definitely more benefits, concessions, and the interest will be passing on to the business community. And also, very, very good discussion took place in this conference regarding the ease of doing business also. So many legislations have been passed. I think that the best thing the government of India, especially the government of NDA government during the first and the second government was done, they're focusing on highly on the ease of doing business. The parliament was very much busy having scheduled in legislations mainly on ease of doing business. And definitely, I think that the business community in India will be protected by helping them more in both in taxation as well as by means of legislative interventions in various aspects. This pandemic experiences, COVID-19 pandemic experience gives us a lesson, especially from the global experience, even from the European countries, United States of America, UK. If you see the system, the health system prevailing there and system prevailing in our country, my concrete suggestion which I would like to make is we have to give focus on strengthening the public health system at the grassroots level. From our own experience from the state of Kerala, you were very well aware that it is the public health system which is prevailing in our state is able to contain this pandemic situation to an extent, at least to minimize the death rate and also to give proper attention to the people. So this is coronavirus, novel coronavirus. Sometimes it may be another virus. This may continue because of the climate change and the global warming. Definitely these things will repeat. So in order to address these health conditions or situation, definitely the government of India and the respective state governments have to give much importance and significance to strengthen the public health system in a decentralized manner at the grassroots level. That is also another suggestion which I would like to make in order to make the strategies when we define the strategies after the COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was an important subject which we have been taken care because health is an important that.
Seagull International Human Resource Consultants. Bridging the gap between dream and reality.